Well, they are denying that any money was spent, that they didn't spend any money.
Then why do you mention,
No, I mentioned the fact that there were reports saying so. For example, the former governor, Issa Yuguda, alleged that the votes were purchased with money in the Bauchi election because he was a contestant.
You say the international observers
also said so. They talked about vote buying.
How can they say that if they didn't see what is happening? There's no smoke without fire. It's happening. It's the worst ever happened in this country.
But earlier you mentioned the fact that they harassed the PDP and so on. Some listening to you will say, yes, they harassed them because the money that was allegedly being used as campaign money was money that was designated as a budget for arms purchases to fight Boko Haram.
You see, this is what I'm saying. There are no support. There are the investigators, prosecutors, and the judges. If there's a large for anybody given money, let them take him to court and prove what is this money for. At least by the person who gave this money, let him explain of where this money come from. The injustice on that is just too much. The PDP held their own convention, what do you call it? Dinner,
yes.
Fundraising dinner.
Yes.
They collected money, and this money was distributed, but for whatever reason, they say it's Boko Haram money. Those who collected that money, how do they know that it's Boko Haram money? They should go to court and prove what they are saying. But immediately they got it, they just made it public persecution so that everybody will assume that what they are saying is true. For the last 3 years, all these cases are there lying down.
There's something I read that I said that if I get the opportunity, I will ask you. Even though you've, of course, been acquitted of the corruption charges that were placed before you, it's on various media that you admitted to collecting more than 2 billion naira for spiritual purposes from Sambo Dasuki, the former national
I don't think so. I don't.
Did you ever say that?
I didn't. If you have that paper, bring it to me for me to see, or any statement. Spiritual, am I going to bring Saudi Arabia and Jerusalem to Nigeria to bring 2 billion naira?
As we wind this down, because we're running out of time, I must ask you two things. You mentioned earlier that you warned the president about what happened with the APC. That means you're not surprised with what happened with our APC and Alhaji Buba Galadima and that group.
Why should I be surprised? Because right from the foundation of APC, there's injustice. We who have suffered and made the party registered, and then we have been pushed away. So for anybody to come now and behave for what is happening in APC is not something surprising, because they've started it. Whatever you plant, that's what you're going to harvest. So it's what they have planted, this is what they are harvesting.
And in winding this up, I then have to ask you, what will be your top 3 priorities if you're elected president? What are the first 3 things you will tackle immediately?
Well, you see, as I told you, party is supreme. We have the manifesto. And being elected as president is not to me that will sit down and say, this is my priority. The priority is my party, manifesto, that what we are sitting down as a team and implement the priority, the immediate need that the country is facing.
Yeah, but
something like security.
Sure you are the one.
Something like
since you are contesting,
this I'm saying,
you must have something that you want.
Of course,
to do.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
The security, the economy, these are the very two serious issues that any serious government in this country, or aspirant or candidate who became the president, will start thinking of how is he going to tackle the security, how is he going to bring the economy in good shape. And as I told you, it's not a one-man show, it's a teamwork. Therefore, when you get a very good team on security aspect, on economic aspect, we can get the result very quickly. Therefore, my government is not going to be it's our government. It's a teamwork. I'm only going to be a leader to see that we implement what we think is good for our country.
Now, that brings me to something else. There's the issue of rotation. There's this gentleman's agreement about rotation, the rotation principle. The North takes the presidency for a while, then he goes to the south, then he comes back, and so on. And that this was actually part of the problem in 2015, that agreement was being breached because the North had not served 8 years by the time the late President Yar'Adua died, and President Jonathan took over. And the understanding was that, yes, because of what happened, we'll let you stay there, but after one term, you go and we have our term. Now, the North has taken 4 years already. If you or any of your colleagues, other than President Muhammadu Buhari, wins the presidency in 2019, can we expect, for example, from you to serve only one term? Or would you be exercising, for example, your right to serve 2 terms?
Well, you see, this is APC-PDP agreement. It's not, it's a gentleman agreement. You know, we are in transition period. A time will come where we don't care from anywhere a candidate emerge, whether it's a northerner, whether it's a Muslim, whether it's a Christian, people accept it. Time will come when it's going to happen. But now we're in transition period. You can see a lot of problem arising. This is the PDP agreed that the president will come from the North. The North didn't beg. It was the party decision that made that decision that the president will come from the North. So he will serve for 2 terms. APC agreed for them 2 terms.
That's right.
Now they have served 1 term. We, the PDP, is agreed between the North and South that it will serve
2 terms.
2 terms. So there's no any conflict here. The APC is going to follow their own. The PDP is going to follow their own. I tell you, all this is transition. The time will come when we forget about North and South. The president will talk of Nigeria as a whole. So whether you are Muslim, whether, look at the example, Abiola, when he emerged, he defeated a northerner, even his own constituency. So time will come, time will change, where we, anybody who fit, trusted, will emerge either from the north or from the south. It's just a question of time. Either it happened during our time, or our children will see it, but I know it's going to happen. We are still on transition, and we shouldn't be in a hurry.
Now, you mentioned June 12. What do you make of what the president did, recognizing June 12, after 25 years?
I was thinking that he should hand over to King Gibe, who is alive, if he realize that June 12 is something that they can think of. He should have handed over to the Vice President of Abiola to continue with this remaining 4 years. Then recognizing June 12. What does it mean? To me, it's just something for political reason, for mentioning June 12 to be, what, is it a public
holiday? Yes. Giving national honors.
Giving national honors. So it's just a political offer. Why he didn't campaign about it? It just happened. The first year, the second, the third year. Maybe he's just doing it for the sake of his campaign to please the Southwest for his second term. Otherwise, why didn't do it at the first year, second year, third year, until now in the 4th year, for campaign period? Maybe it's an offer he gave to Southwest. And I'm happy that they are turning it down. They say they don't want it. So.
Well, the family has accepted it.
Well, the family, of course, what else can they do? They have been honored. They have been honored. They have been honored. So to them, that's good, but that should not be seen as something that people will be happy about it. We see it as a campaign
promise.
Or
a campaign
strategy for him to get support from Southwest so that he can get his second term easier.
Alhaji Bafarawa, my final question. People are again worried. The way they were worried before 2015, that the way things are going, you know what happened with the National Assembly and the blockade that happened, which led to the firing of the DG of the DSS that we spoke about during the course of the interview, and a number of other things, defections, the whole issue of the battle for power. And many people are worried that when the elephants, and in this case we are referring to people like you, fight, is the grass that ends up suffering. And so people are trying to say, look, where are we going to run to this time if there's a problem? What do you have to say to them to calm them down? Or
well,
do you think they have reason to worry?
Who?
The people.
Nigerians?
The electorate, yes.
Of course, yes. They have something to worry about. That's why it will come a time when the leaders, the electorate, will realize that the responsibility belongs to every one of us. We should not start putting blames on the leadership of present administration. Whatever it is, if we want this country to move forward, we should blame ourselves. And if we agree that we have made a mistake, we will sit down and think about it and think how we can be able to move forward. When you are talking of electorates, they are the causer of this problem.
How?
Because they are corrupt.
The electorate?
Of course, yes.
How do you mean?
Very good question. If you don't, that's why these money bags have joined politics. If there's no money bags, politics was a bit in good shape in this country. But because of those who have made money of their own profession, they come and join politics and start spreading money to the electorates, and the electorates have seen money, physical money, 10,000, 20,000 naira, and then they are collecting it. Look, this is my own share. Next time, if I bought him in the office, I will not see him. So I'm taking my own share. But if I told that, look, we are going to vote for you because of your own integrity, we know you can do it. At least, no matter how wicked that leader is, he will sympathize with them. But when you go, you join politics, you have a godfather, a financier, who will help you to win the election because it's money, and then the person you can start thinking of is how you repay this money back to your godfather. But if the talakawas, the electors, agreed to say, we don't want anybody's money now, we want a leader who will help us out of this problem, I think we can be able to move forward.
Bafarawa, thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you very much. Thank you.